Well, when I bought this camera, I had never anticipated being able to use it as a periscope, but that's what I'm going to have to try and do today. What I've got here is a pedestal sink that seems to be leaking from somewhere, but I can't get my big old melon back there far enough to see where the leak is coming from. So I'm going to try and turn this thing around and use it like a periscope. Alright, with the camera on the back side of the drain now, I can already see a little drip here. Let's turn on the water, see what happens. So it appears that what we've got here is leaking coming from the sink itself, that the plumber's putty is probably eroded away from the drain. So we'll try and replace that and see if that does anything. Well, the pedestal sink sits too close to the wall to get any tools in there, so we had to pull it down off of the wall. Finally got the little slip nut loose. Let's look around the other side here. And you can see there isn't a shred of plumber's putty in that gap there, and that's our problem, is that that's worn away. So we need to replace that and put everything back together again. Now, standing this thing back upright and getting a good look at it again, what I can see is that instead of plumber's putty, somebody has used a silicone caulk in here, and that's often a sign that the pop-up drain doesn't seat right in here. And I find then that it's much more successful if we use a gasket like this rather than plumber's putty. So we're going to give that a try. Well, the fun just keeps on coming. The rubber gasket solution didn't work. I could not compress the tailpipe here piece far enough to get the nut to properly engage, which gives me a little hint as to why they use silicone and maybe not even plumber's putty. One other solution would be to replace the entire pop-up drain, but that's going to be difficult as well because of this. These two plumbing pipes come right out of the wall, and they would block the stopper action of a typical sink. So there isn't any way to put a standard one in there. If you look at this rascal here, you see it has no place where the lever comes in here. So we have to figure out how to use this thing, get it back in, because I don't know if we're going to find a replacement very easily. So we'll keep trying on that. Well, the fun just keeps on coming. As I was installing the plumber's putty and pressing it down into place, I found that there was a tiny little hairline crack in this thing, which really may have been the source of the leak and not the putty or the caulk that was used around here. Tightened down so tight to get it to stop leaking that it put a little hairline crack in it. Well, now we've really got a challenge on our hands because we have to put in a standard pop-up that has this additional piece here to operate the pop-up drain, and that we believe is going to hit these pipes coming out of the wall here. So we're well into what could be the handyman nightmare. Alright, our new pop-up is in. We don't really have quite enough room to operate in here very well, but as you can see, the lever that normally needs to be about this long to work right is going to hit right on to those shut-off valves, and so is the piece that would come down from the sink. So what I'm going to do is simply cut off this operating lever here so that I can screw it in tight so that it won't leak water from behind, and then hopefully we'll be good. Well, the water's back on. Doesn't seem that anything's leaking, except, of course, when we turn water off and on, we run into a problem with old shutoffs leaking. Boy, we're having fun now. Well, new shutoff's working. Faucet's not leaking. We replaced the gaskets there. And drain seems to be dry underneath. So about 4 hours later from the start, we're all done.